start in easy seated pose today, bringing one foot in front of the other. Good. So bringing the back of our palms to our knees, palms are open, elongating from the tailbone through the spine, through the crown of the head. Taking a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, a few clearing breaths. Holding the air in at the top and sighing it out. Following each exhalation all the way to the bottom. And then once again, filling the lungs big with all the air you can suck in. And allowing our breath to assume its natural rhythm, in through the nose and out through the nose. Noticing the muscles in our faces soft. The shoulders have melted away from the ears. And our spines are tall with our abdomen drawn in. We're going to focus on gratitude today. So I encourage you to think about 3 things that you are grateful for. You're welcome to think about them, visualize them, or even to say them out loud. Noticing how thinking about the good things in our lives makes us feel better, lighter, and happier. And using this technique at any time we may feel stressed or overwhelmed in our day. Just taking a moment to stop any emotions that may be negative and reflecting on what we might be grateful for. Getting a sense of the mood of the body, and perhaps setting an intention for the practice, or reflecting on the reason and the motivation that brought us to the mat today. It may actually be something you're grateful for. Coming back to the sounds of the space around us, we'll blink our eyes open. And we're going to come down onto the mat, lying down in supine. We're going to start refreshing the body with some gentle twists. So elongating the legs, lowering down one vertebrae at a time, shoulders and head. And go ahead and hug the left knee into the chest. Even a nice gentle hug. Drawing it in as close to the body as possible. And now with the right hand on the outside of the left knee, we're going to rotate over to the right side of the body while elongating the left hand. Extending now both arms out like a big tree. Both shoulder blades are firmly planted on the mat. You can feel the back of our hands on the earth below. We're slowly going to do some dynamic rotations. So on the inhale, we're opening. On the exhale, we're bringing the palms of our hands together, stacking the shoulders on top of one another, stacking the hips on top of one another. On the inhale, we open back up, gazing over the left arm. And then on the exhale, we close back up, bringing the palms and the hands together, stacking the hips. Inhaling, opening, reaching,
Gently nourishing tissues around the spine. And exhale. And go ahead and flow through this a few more times to your own breath. Opening and expanding the chest. And warming the spine. Let's do 2 more just like this. And on the next inhale, we come back to center. Opening up our chest, bringing both knees, stacking them over the hips, hugging them in, rocking left to right if that feels good. Gentle massage of the spine, starting to feel the hip flexors. Good. And we'll keep our right knee hugged in, extending the left leg up. Hugging in gently, close to the body. Noticing the contact of our hips and our lower back on the ground. And bring the left hand to the outside of the right knee. Go ahead and rotate over to the left side of the body. Elongating the right arm, gazing over to the right. And then we elongate the left arm as well. Holding here. And when you're ready, taking our deep breaths in our open position. On the exhale, we close, bringing both palms of the hand together. Stacking the shoulders and the hips. Inhaling, opening back up. And exhaling, close. Finding whatever rhythm works for you and your breath. We'll do 3 more. And on the next inhale, we meet up in the center, opening up. And then bringing both knees, stacking them over top of our hips, hugging them and lifting our shoulders and head off the mat, tucking our chins into our chests, curling up into a tight little ball. Lowering our shoulders and our head back to the earth, crossing both legs over one another so the knees are stacked on top. And let's walk the foot out to the edge of the mat. And one more time, gentle twist, rotating, opening up the arms again, keeping our shoulders firmly planted on the earth. Noticing any areas that may be comfortable or uncomfortable. Breathing into the discomfort, knowing that it will transition. Noticing the body slowly relax and ease into the pose. One more breath here. And then on the inhale, we'll stack the knees back over the hips. A little bit wider this time, bringing your hands to the outside of the knees. Then go ahead and move the whole leg around, making big circles, warming into the hips. And go ahead and switch directions. Coming back to our neutral position, crossing the opposite legs now over the top. The bottom foot, we walk to the outer edge of the mat, and then slowly lower the knees to the outside. Opening our arms, once again, running through a body scan, noticing any areas of discomfort, any patterns of tension we may be hanging on to. And seeing if we can let go of some of the blocked energy through our breath work and our mindfulness, maintaining presence in the moment and on those areas of discomfort. Noticing the body soften. One more breath. And on the next inhale, we rotate the lower half of our body once again, hugging our knees all the way back in, curling ourselves up into a little ball. Tucking our chins into our chest. Maybe moving the head around, shifting the head left and right, up and down. That may feel good. And then we're going to roll over to the side, pressing ourselves up. And we're coming into all fours. Getting our hands underneath our shoulders. The hips are stacked on top of the knees, and just slowly shifting our weight left to right. Shifting the hips. Opening up the side body. Little lateral flexion. Allowing the head to float naturally side to side. Adding in a big or a small circle as feels good. Shifting the weight from hip to hip, wrist to wrist. Floating as naturally and as in a gentle flow that feels yummy for the body. As big or as little as circles, and whatever speed feels good for you. Breathing light into any space that may feel uncomfortable. Visualizing a release of energy, a release of tension, and an opening. And go ahead and switch directions. Noticing any different sensations moving in this direction, perhaps different patterns. And a different rhythm. Inhaling curiosity and exhaling any sense of judgment or expectation for the body, remembering to honor the state of our body in this moment. One more circle, and we'll all meet back up in our neutral position. Checking our hands and our knees. We're actually going to walk the knees back or the hands forward. Come into a puppy pose, so keeping the hips high, gentle arch of the lower back, melting our arms and our armpits into the earth. Keeping our chins on the mat. Feeling an opening in the upper back, the arms, the shoulders, and the neck. And then taking the right hand, we're going to thread it all the way underneath the left, either gazing forward, putting a little bit more pressure on the right shoulder, opening up the right shoulder and the upper back. Option, of course, to gaze over to the left side, palm is facing up. An option here to bring the left hand all the way around the back, wrapping it around the body, finding a pose here that feels best for your body today. Taking that left hand, reaching it all the way up, bringing the right ear down to the earth. And then reaching the left hand all the way back over the head again. Finding our stability, bringing the right arm all the way back out. Let's sink back into child's pose. Reaching the hands long on the mat. Shifting the weight left and right. And then we bring ourselves all the way back up into all fours. Reset. And we'll walk our hands all the way back out once again. Puppy pose, this time threading the needle with the left arm coming under the right. Pressing the fingertips and the knuckles of the right hand onto the earth. Drawing the left arm all the way under the body. Allowing our weight to come forward onto the left shoulder. Gazing forward or over to the right, depending on what feels best for your body today. Keeping the hips high, little traction on the spine. And of course, option to bring the right hand around the back. Gentle twist of the spine. And you may feel this running down the front of the right arm. Gentle sensations as we open up. And we lift the right arm all the way up over our bodies. 2 breaths here. And we bring the right arm over the head, rotating ourselves back, releasing the left arm, reaching the arms long, and then we melt all the way to the earth. Prone pose. Taking a few breaths here, allowing our lower back to assume the natural curvature. Go ahead and extend both arms long, Palms are facing into the earth. Chin is on the ground. Lifting our right foot off the ground. And we're gently going to walk the right hand in for support up on the fingertips. And gently rotate the right foot all the way behind our bodies. And we gaze over to the right. Reaching our left arm long, gripping into the earth. Gentle spinal twist. Option to bring the right arm all the way back behind. Option to reach both hands together, interlacing. That feels good. Depends on where you are feeling the sensations and what your body needs. That's what we're here to honor and to get out of the practice what we need today. Maybe feeling an opening in the right hip and the left arm and chest. I too feel this in the upper back on the left side. And just being conscious of any patterns you might be holding on to. One more breath. And then we'll float all the way back to center. Elongating and reaching the right arm all the way out, bringing our chin back to center. Shifting the head left and right, resetting. And then walking the left fingertips in towards the body, lifting the left foot, and we go ahead and rotate over behind the body, gazing over to the left. Once again, reaching the right arm long, starting to feel an opening the right chest, maybe even the upper back, and through to the lower back and hip on the left side. Floating the left hand behind the back, interlacing the hands if that feels good. Two more big breaths. Now we rotate all the way back to center. Gentle transition. Chin is on the earth. And go ahead and bring both hands behind the back, interlacing. Lifting and peeling the chest and the chin off the earth. Driving the knuckles down towards the feet. Pressing the tops of the feet and the thigh muscles into the mat. Neutral spine. We can easily move our heads around. Good. And bringing our hands underneath our shoulders. Inhaling, cobra. Gentle back bend. Now we lower all the way back down, this time stepping up into down dog, curling the toes under our shins. Deep breaths in, either pressing into a kneeling plank or full plank, and then down dog. Finding our position here, pedaling out the feet, and allowing the head to hang heavy. Checking in with the sensations in the back body. Finding stillness, pressing the earth away, pressing the heels towards the mat. float through a few vinyasas. Gentle, going to the rhythm of our breath. Inhaling to plank, curling and wrapping the elbows forward, lowering down into chaturanga, coming all the way up into cobra or upward facing dog. And curling the toes in, stepping back into down dog. We'll float through a few more of these with our breath. Inhaling, plank, wrapping the elbows forward, shifting the weight forward over the shoulders, lowering down into chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing or cobra. Exhaling back down and pressing up into down dog. Finding your rhythm, we'll do 3 more. Maybe alternating from cobra to upward facing, depending on how you're feeling. Not pushing anything. We're here not to cause stress. Taking breaths as needed, and we'll do 1 more flow. Warming the entire body, creating vitality and energy, refreshing the breath, the mind, and the body. Good. Everybody meeting up in down dog, taking a few breaths here. Resetting, finding the gripping and the grounding of our fingers into the earth, activating the knuckles as we press away. And then with our left foot lifted, pressing into the right heel. Doesn't have to be lifted high to feel this in the back body. Go ahead and bend the left knee, rotating the hips open. Maybe feeling some sensations in the lower back on the left side. Breathing into it, finding our inner strength and calm. Rotating back to center, coming all the way through into a high plank, pressing the earth away, creating space for our knee. Breathing into the upper back and neck. And we step into a lunge. Maybe helping the left foot come all the way through, that's fine. We're in a high lunge here, bringing our hands all the way up, pressing into the tops of the toes of the right foot, elongating the spine. Good. And let's reset into warrior 2, planting the back foot, opening the arms, looking over the extended left fingers, finding our stability. Even weight in both feet. Checking in, can we see our toes beyond our knee? Maybe sinking a little bit deeper. Tucking the pelvis underneath us, which means engaging the back glute. Let's go ahead and rotate the front palm open. Reverse warrior. Inhaling, breathing into the side body. Allowing the back hand to fall naturally wherever it will. Creating space in the left side body.
2 more breaths here. And then we're going to windmill our arms all the way forward, coming down onto our left forearm, reaching the right arm up, over the ear, over the face, over the head. Continuing to press the pelvis forward, tucking the hips under, reaching and opening the side body on the right. Feeling the dynamic tension from right foot to right fingertips. Breathing into it and creating space, elongating the right side. Reflecting on our calm inner strength. Reflecting on what we're grateful for in moments that we may find are more challenging. These techniques may help us remain present in the moment. 1 more breath. And we windmill our head all the way down, back into our high lunge, rotating the back foot. Good. Bringing our knee all the way back into our chest. We're stepping back into our single leg down dog. Curling in, pressing the earth away, pressing into the shoulders, upper back, breathing deeply. And then go ahead and extend the left leg long. Single leg down dog. Pressing our weight into our right heel. Now we lower the left foot back down, coming into child's pose, bringing our knees to the earth, walking our hands up. Oh, sinking our hips back, shifting, or finding stillness, whatever feels best at this point in our practice. One more breath here to reset. And we'll do the sequence all over on the right side. Bringing ourselves back up into all fours. Option to take a sip of water. Once again, curling our toes underneath our shins, pressing the earth away, lifting our hips on the exhalation. Lifting our right foot off the mat, bringing it all the way up, pressing the weight into the left heel. And then bending the right knee, opening up the hips, stacking the knee on top of the right hip. Maybe gazing underneath the left armpit to see the foot. Checking in with the sensations of the body, maybe feeling this in the left upper back or the right lower back. Just checking in, identifying the sensations. One more big breath here. And then we float back to center, bringing the knee into our chest, high plank, pressing again the earth away, coming up on the balls of the left foot, tucking the chin into the chest, creating space in the upper back. And then we step all the way through into our high plank, assisting the foot as needed. Our high lunge. Good, finding our stability in the right foot and the left toes. And on the inhale, we lift our arms all the way up. Crescent lunge. Inhaling, reaching up. Maybe even noticing some sensations down the left hip flexor. Bringing the shoulders down, pivoting into warrior two. The left heel plants into the earth. We find our stability. We bring our shoulders down. And we gaze over the extended right hand. Checking in, making sure we've got a little bit of dynamic tension through the legs,
the left foot to the right foot. And then we can see our toes beyond our right knee. Keeping our legs where they are, rotating our front palm open and coming into a reverse warrior. Holding here, taking our deep breaths, engaging the left glute to press the pelvis forward, and creating space in the right side body. One more breath. And then we're going to windmill the arms over to the lunge leg, bringing our forearm down, lifting our left arm, and once again, stretching as long and tall as we can. Keeping the left glute pressing forward, noticing the sensations, breathing light into any discomfort. One more big breath. And then we'll rotate our torso over top of the lunge leg, coming back on the left toes. We pivot. And again, we're going to curl the right knee into our chest, pressing the earth away, creating space, tucking our chins into our chests. And then go ahead and extend the right leg tall. Sing the leg down dog, maybe feeling a little bit different, maybe a little bit lighter, and a little bit more flexibility in the left side, pressing our weight into our left heel. Good. Lowering all the way down into child's pose, bringing our knees to the earth. Oh, feels good on the lower back, walking the hands out, sinking the hips back to the heels. Choosing whatever child's pose feels good for you at this point. Narrow, wide, chin down, forehead down, shifting or still. Drawing ourselves all the way back into all fours on the inhale. We're going to do one more lunge on each side, but with a prayer twist this time. So curling our toes under our shins, deep breaths in. And we exhale, lifting the hips. Drawing the left leg off the mat, pressing the weight into the right heel. And we'll step all the way through, so coming up on the right toes, gazing forward, tucking the knee into the chest. Lunge here, crescent lunge, nice and high. One more time, inhaling, reaching all the way up. Hands to heart center. Rotating here over to the left side and lowering so that we're in a prayer twist. Bringing our right elbow to the left knee, gazing wherever your body finds somewhere to gaze at naturally. Feeling a little bit of sensation in the left glute, hip flexor, maybe even the glute. Bringing our awareness to the breath. Noticing the rhythm. If we may be pushing too far, too fast. Or simply to maintain our presence in this moment. Opening up the arms, reaching tall. Connecting the earth to the sky. Lifting the right kneecap while engaging the right quadricep.
Pressing through the right toes. And bring the hands back together. Rotating back over top of the left knee. Bringing our hands down. Single leg down dog. Tucking the knee into the chest. Pressing the earth away. And extending the left leg long. One more big breath here. And then we'll lower the left foot. Pedal it out, rinse it. And then we'll switch to the other side of the body. Lifting the leg all the way up. Finding grounding of our fingers into the earth. Floating through. Coming up onto the left toes, gazing forward, drawing the knee into the chest, stepping into our high lunge. When you're ready, go ahead, inhale, lifting the right arms all the way up. Exhaling, hands to heart. Finding stability, maybe walking the feet out a bit. And when you're ready, go ahead and twist into your prayer twist. Lowering the torso over the right knee. Pressing the left elbow into the knee and finding your drishti. Noticing if any sensations are different on this side. Go ahead and open up the arms, reaching tall. Lifting the kneecap while engaging the quadriceps. The whole body is activated, creating a sense of vitality and warmth. So bring the hands back to heart center, pressing the palms together. And then we rotate our torsos back over our knee. Bring our hands down to the earth, curling the knee into our chest, single leg down dog. Pressing the weight into the left heel. Three big breaths here. And then we come all the way down onto our knees, toes, pose. Curling the toes underneath our shins. Rolling the shoulders, tall spine. We're going to do a gentle rotation of the spine one more time. So inhaling, coming to the side, and then alternating sides. Going to whatever speed feels good for you. Reaching for the outside of the opposite knee. Looking over the shoulder as possible. Changing our normal and usual linear patterns from our daily lives. Just experiencing different angles and patterns, and directions that our bodies can and should move. One more on each side. Good, and we come back to center, coming all the way back down into all fours, tapping out the tops of our feet, and they feel good. Oh, good. It always feels good. Go ahead and wiggle the ankles around, circling the feet. Good. And let's go through the very gentle, purposeful cat-cow, our classic cat-cow, starting with the tailbone, pressing into the earth, lifting the chest and the head. On the exhale, we round the spine. One vertebrae at a time, checking in and tucking our chins to chest. Floating through, inhaling. And exhaling. Minding your flow. Visualizing the nourishing power of our breath on our spine. Let's do one more. Good. Coming back to neutral. We're going to make our way into fire log. So option is to bring one knee behind the other and then sink ourselves all the way back down so that our knees are stacked on top of each other. Option, of course, is just to get there some other way. But it tends to bring our knees a little bit closer when we cross them behind us in our all fours. Great. Good. As close as you can, checking whatever feels good. We are going to inhale and lift our arms all the way up. And then hinge forward, keeping our sit bones firmly planted into the earth. If this doesn't feel comfortable, you are welcome to change the position of the leg to a position that feels good for the hip and the lower back. So play around with it, find something that feels good, where you can in fact keep the sit bones firmly planted and hinge forward. This may be as far as you can go today, that's fine. We slowly start melting ourselves to the earth, breathing and releasing the tension that may be stored in the lower back, allowing our heads to hang heavy, moving the head from side to side if that feels good, just moving around a little bit, maybe even shifting the whole torso left to right. This is your practice. Choose what feels good for you. Option to bring the hand to the top knee and press away, gently rotating the spine and the torso gazing up. And coming back to center, we'll stack the vertebrae one at a time slowly. Shoulders, neck, and head. Lifting the one arm up, opposite to the top knee. And that same sided hand comes up on the fingertips, and we're going to gently come into a side bend, keeping rooting through the hip so that the hip doesn't lift off. The sit bones are still firmly planted. And we walk the hand out as the right side body or the side body and lower back start to open. Pressing the knees away, keeping our grounding. And let's round forward, coming out of that slowly and gently. Back to center, we once again stack the vertebrae, erect spine, shoulders, neck, and head. Floating back up, rolling the shoulders, lifting the head.
And go ahead and switch the legs. Option, of course, to come into a staff pose in between, just shaking them out a little bit. Good. And then the opposite knee goes on top. Once again, you are welcome to bring the knees, stacking them, or of course, finding a different placement for the feet. Inhaling, lifting the arms all the way up. Exhaling, we hinge forward. Keeping the sit bones on the mat, seeing what parts of the body feel better in this position, and then going ahead and maneuvering the legs as desired. Maybe you feel the tension a little bit more in one place or the other. Option, of course, to shift the weight. Just exploring the sensations. I'm curious how our body feels today as opposed to yesterday, last week, last month. Knowing that every sensation does have a tendency to shift and transform. It's nice to be curious to see how it's transforming and at what speed. Option to bring the top hand onto the top knee, rotating away, pressing into the lower back and the hip if it feels good. And rotating back to center. Rolling up gently, one vertebrae at a time, shoulders, neck, and head, lifting the arm opposite to the top knee. Once again, walking the hand out and coming into a side bend, supported. Keeping the arm on top of the head or even supported by the head. Driving through the hip, making sure the knees and the hips stay close to the earth. Moving around until you feel energy release. Big breaths in. Now we slowly hinge forward, rolling our torso over our legs. Coming back to the center. And once again, slowly rolling ourselves back up. One vertebrae at a time, shoulders, neck, and head. Rolling the shoulders up and the head, smiles on our face. And go ahead and extend the legs long once again. And this time, flexing the feet, toes are pointed up, micro bend in the knees. Keeping the sit bones planted, elongating and stretching the arms out. Tucking our chins into our chests and pulsing if that feels good. Breaking into the connective tissues, the back body. Building elasticity and collagen that tend to get dry and brittle as we age and sit and not move around too much. This gets the blood flowing. And helps to release all that blocked energy. Good. Finding stillness here. Rolling ourselves up gently. Coming back into easy seated pose with our feet crossed in front of us. And then bringing our hands to heart center, palms are together. Giving thanks for our bodies, the strength of our bodies, the strength of our minds to come to the mat, knowing that somehow this will benefit us. Grateful for this opportunity to practice. Grateful for this community that continues to come together even though we're separated into 4 countries today. And perhaps setting an intention to reflect on the blessings for the week ahead. Reminding ourselves that we can always come back and remind ourselves of things that we are grateful for. Taking one more deep breath in through the nose. Holding all that goodness at the top. And then sighing it out. Thank you all for joining today. Namaste.